Hello guys, AlexTheGrumpyOne here. I hope you're well, and today I've decided to do a video for you on the winter check, service check pretty much of your car, and also give you an idea of what's happening with the car and what things you're going to need to check to make sure that your car is safe to go. So for that I'm going to use today my Volkswagen Tiguan. So this is diesel 2012. The idea of home mechanical stuff that you got in there is similar on every car. Obviously I know it will be slightly different, but how everything works and what you need to check is the same. So yeah, if you got the Tiguan, obviously that's what you're going to have, but I'm going to try and explain it to cover most of the cars anyway. And for that I also made my own selection of tools that I think are very easy to use, guys. Anyone can use them, and I'm going to put all the tools that I got here in the description below, and obviously show you each single tool and what is it for and how it works, which I think is going to be great. So you're pretty much going to be able to do the winter check yourself or a service check yourself as well, especially now at these difficult times, guys, that with all the COVID and everything going on. I think this will be a brilliant idea just to make sure that your car is safe. Right guys, so the first check I would do myself is the lights. I would check if all my lights are working around the car, and if you're on your own, guys, if you haven't got anyone else who can check it for you standing on side, you can use your phone, which I'm pretty sure most of us got a phone. So just put the camera on record in front of the car and jump in, obviously turn the ignition on and start it up, and go through all of your lights, side lights, fog lights, headlights, and etc., or your warning lights, indicators, and the same on the back. Put the camera at the back and check all your lights at the back, including the fog light, just to make sure everything's working. Right guys, so after making sure that all of your lights are working, next thing I would do is check your wipers. So use your washers, make sure they're spraying on the windscreen properly, then use your wipers, obviously front and back, lift them up afterwards, check the rubber if it's not split anywhere, same at the back as well, just make sure they're fine. From there I would carry on and check your seat belts, all of them, just give them a pull, make sure they're locked when you pull them quickly, and also make sure when they in the buckle, give them a pull, that it's locked in there. And while you're giving a pull, also try and release it, see if you're going to release it. It's definitely important. This is more like MOT checks now. So yeah, that's definitely the safety things, guys. And from there, I think we're going to carry on and open the bonnet and have a look what you got under the bonnet. Right guys, so here we are, we're under the bonnet, and I would start with the left side where you got the coolant level check, and obviously the coolant check that we're going to do in a second. So you always got a minimum and maximum mark, make sure it's close to maximum. Then we're going to move on down there. This is on this type of the car, but you're usually going to have a yellow sign with the brakes, which is the brake bottle, the brake fluid bottle, sorry. So you can always have a look at that. They're going to have a level as well, minimum, maximum. I'm going to show you that closer in a second when we're testing the brake fluid. So from there, we got the fuel filter here. So like I said, this is for the diesel one. The petrol cars usually haven't got the fuel filter under the bonnet. So this is the fuel filter on the TDI engines, and this is not only on the Tiguan. Then we're going to move on. You're going to have a dipstick somewhere, and it's usually either yellow or orange. So when the car is not running, you pull it out, wipe it off, and then push it back in again, all the way down. Leave it there for 3 seconds. Just make sure you wipe it off first, and then you're going to be able to see the level. You're going to have a min and a max mark, and you need to have it as close as possible to the max. If it's below the minimum, you obviously have to top up the oil, find out what is the correct oil for you. So to top up the oil, there's your oil cap. It's usually going to be a similar looking cap on most of the cars. So you undo it, obviously top up with the right oil, and don't forget to do it up properly, make sure it's tight on there. So moving along, we're going to have the air filter, which is located in here. You can use the Torx tool to undo it and check your air filter, make sure it hasn't got any dirt in it. If you look here, you take the cover off, and here's your battery. You have to make sure you take the notice of what type battery you need as well when you're buying a new one, in case your one is dead. So this is AGM, and this is also the same if you're going to be charging your battery using that charger that I showed you earlier, because you need to know what is the type of your battery, and that's where you're going to find it. So here we got the screen wash. Like I said, very important to make sure you got the proper mixture of screen wash in there so it doesn't go freezing. And on this side, on this car, we've got the fuse box, which is located there. but there's also a fuse box behind the glove box, and there's a couple of other places that you can find it in the owner's manual. Right guys, so I'm going to start with the coolant check. So first thing you have to make sure is that your engine is not hot, because if it is hot, your coolant will be hot up to 90 degrees, and when you open this, there'll be a lot of pressure and the coolant will come out and burn you. So make sure you're careful when you're doing this step. Like I said, taking it off now. All you have to do with this tool, guys, is suck the coolant out of the bottle. While you're doing this, you can also check, obviously when this is going through the glass, you can check if you've got any rubbish in it or rust or etc. So like I said, get enough coolant out of there. And what you're looking for is you need to make sure that all of your discs are floating. Well, the more floating the better it is. In case none of them are floating or just one is floating, then it's definitely time for you to replace your coolant. So I definitely advise looking into that. And when you're doing this, you need to make sure that you're using the right type of coolant, because you're not allowed to use different color or strength coolants in the system, because that will cause an engine issue as well. So as you see, we got rid of all the air now. So it's good. And as you can see, all of my discs are up. They're all floating, so that means my coolant is very good. It has been changed recently, so I'll be surprised if it wasn't. So that's the coolant check done, guys. Let's carry on now. Right guys, so now it's time to use the brake fluid check tool. So it's easy to use, guys. It comes with the battery. Once you fit it in, all you have to do is press the power switch. It'll come up with the battery live, so it's ready to go now. You take the bottom cover off, and you're going to have a little light there, which is going to obviously help you looking through the brake fluid as well. What you got there is 8 numbers, and that means you're going to select the brake fluid type that you're using. Usually the brake fluid type is on top of your brake fluid bottle cap, so it's easy enough, or you can check it in your owner's manual. So in my case it's dot 4. You got the switch at the top there that you can press. Obviously once it's on, press it and you can see it's going to move. I need number 2 because in my case I got dot 4. So I'll leave it on number 2, and all we have to do now is obviously take the cover off and dip this in your brake fluid. Right guys, so let me just get the cover off. Make sure you got a bit of paper to clean any brake fluid that might come off of it, because you don't want your brake fluid to get on the bodywork or anywhere, because it will eat your paint, and you definitely don't want that. In case it has got somewhere, clean it with the paper and then with a bit of water, because water is the best thing to clear that off, and you definitely need to do that, guys. Like I say, you don't want to damage the paint. Right guys, so we got the cap off. All we have to do now is turn the tool on and dip it in there. Make sure obviously it reaches the brake fluid. As you can see, that failed. I got all 4 lights on, and the top one is obviously more than 4% of water in there, so that's not good. It definitely needs replacing, guys. What you're looking for is needs to be pretty much maximum 2 orange lights to up to 2% of moisture in there. When it goes more than that, that means you need to replace it, and obviously when it's above 4%, then you definitely need to replace it as soon as possible. So there you go, guys. Like I said, nice and easy check. Obviously when you're taking it out, make sure that you got a bit of paper so don't drip the brake fluid anywhere. Clean it up, and that's job done on the brake fluid check, guys. In this case it's a fail. Right guys, on the battery, most of the VWs and Audis, all the VAG group pretty much of the cars got the batteries under the bonnet, and most of the cars, to be honest, got them under the bonnet. If they're not under the bonnet, they'll be in your boot or under the seat, so have a look at that. So in this case we've got a little cover that you take off, and obviously you usually got the type of the battery. In this case it's AGM, because it got start and stop system on this. You're going to have a positive and negative side, so when you're connecting the jump start or the battery charger, make sure you obviously put the plus on the positive side and minus on the negative side to avoid any circuits issues or etc. or damaging your vehicle or the charging tool. Right guys, so on the battery charger, the best option for you is have a look at my video that I'm on a review and demo of it. Obviously, like I showed you earlier on the battery, all you have to do is plug it into the mains, and obviously put the positive to the positive and negative to the negative, and select on the mode button the option for the right battery, and it's going to do its job, because like I said, it's an intelligent battery charger and it knows what it's doing. So yeah, if you want more in-depth description of this one, then please have a look at the video that I've done previously, guys, and I got plenty of information there. Right guys, so on the screen wash, nice and easy. You most of the cases got a blue cap on it, and you're going to have a windscreen picture on it. So just open it up, you're going to have a little filter there. So best choice is to buy ready to use screen wash, and obviously fill it up till it goes to the top, guys. Right guys, so we're done under the engine now, and now we can use 3 of our other tools whilst we're doing checks on the wheels and tires and the brakes. So let's have a look. We're going to start with the tire pressure one. Right guys, so on the tire pressures, we got this tool that is awesome and easy to use. All you have to do is put the battery in that comes with it and just press on, and you're gonna, obviously by pressing it on again, once it's on, you're gonna give it 4 different readings, and I'm gonna do it in bar because that's what our work is, as you can see there. So all you have to do is now take the valve cap off and push that on there, and it's gonna beep and give you the reading. So let's do that now. Right guys, so like I said, valve cap off, on, and push it on there, gives you a beep, take it off, and there we go, we got 1.85 bars. So by checking this, you can find in the owner's manual, or in this case on the fuel cap, the reading that it should be, and I know that for this tire it should have 2.2, so I know I have to pump the tires up. And obviously now you have to do the same on all of the other 3 tires, and you can also check your spare one if you got one. Right guys, so let's check our brake pads now using this tool. So the good thing about this tool is it's actually plastic, which is great for when you're checking something like this. So even if you scratch your alloy with it, it's not going to damage it, because in some cases the metal ones, they're a bit more rough and they will cause a bit of scratching or damage on your alloy. So that's definitely a benefit of this tool. So let's get in there and see what we got, guys. Right guys, so by looking in there, I can see that pad must be on around 8mm. So that's what I'm gonna start with, get the 8mm in there. And yeah, that fits in there perfectly, guys. So as you can see, that's a good indicator that we can measure the outside pads and see what they're on. Obviously, then lower they go, then I would say I would replace my brake pads when they're starting to go lower than 3mm. And that will avoid you obviously damaging the discs when they get any lower, and then you have to replace the discs as well. So like I said, I know you can only check the outer pads, but I think it's definitely a good thing to have an idea of what's happening with your brakes. Right guys, so here we got the tire thread gauge, and that is very easy to use. Once the battery is in, all you have to do is turn it on, the numbers will come on. The first thing I would do is to zero it, because it might not be set up to 0 in the beginning. I've set up my one already. So all you do is put it on a flat surface, it's not your hand, probably something like a table or floor, and press 0, and it will obviously zero the numbers. And then obviously when you move it, it'll give you the reading. You can also get the reading in millimeters or inches, which is handy as well. I'm going to be doing it in the millimeters. So if you look at the tire, I've put it on the full log just to make it easier to get to it. So if you look, we got on the tires usually the wear indicators, which is them lumps there. Usually they're on around 2mm, and when it goes below them, which is the legal limit on the tires, 1.6. I usually let my tires get to about 3mm, and then they need replacing. So let's check them now. I'm going to measure in between there, just slightly off the tire indicator. So push it down, and here we are. We've got 3.26. In the middle, where it looks slightly lower, I think that's going to be on about 2.5. Let's have a look. Yeah, we've got 2.3, so they are definitely ready to be changed now, guys. Let me just check it in there. I usually check them in 3 different places, and that's 3.5. So what I can see is I got an even wear on the tire, but anyway, the lowest point, let's just double check. Yeah, the lowest point is 2.3. So yeah, they're definitely ready to be changed now, guys. So obviously do the same on all of your other tires. Right guys, so as you seen earlier, my tyre pressures were low and I think it's a perfect opportunity to use the Draper tyre inflator. They're going to plug into 12 volts. Good thing about this guys, it also comes with the light there, and you can change the lens as well to the warning light, which I think is brilliant in case of emergency. So you got the button on the side there, and you got the gauge to check your tyre pressures at the top there. So I'm going to start the car up and plug it in and see how it's going to work. Right guys, so I decided not to run the vehicle, but in case you're doing it, I would suggest you do. I'm only doing it so it's not making too much noise. I've got enough battery anyway. I've plugged it in now to 12 volt socket. So let's just take the valve out, the cap off, sorry, and plug this in. So you lock it in, there you go. And obviously just turn it on now, and hopefully it's gonna work. There we go. That's brilliant. So obviously you leave it pumping till you get to the reading that you want it to be on. And now I'm gonna also show you the lights. So we've got, there's a normal light on the function number 1. And now we're gonna put on function 2, and this is gonna be your emergency light that you need with your orange lens. So I think this is perfect guys, if you're broken down or etc. So definitely handy thing to have on it as well. So I'm gonna turn it off, and like I said, you can keep on pumping to what you need, but I think that just demonstrated the tool works very well, and I'm definitely happy with that product to have in my boot in the car. Right guys, so here we are. I think we're done now. I'm pretty sure I covered everything on the winter check and servicing and the general idea of the car. If I didn't, then please let me know, comment below. If there's anything else you want to know guys, I'll be more than happy to answer on that. And if there's any other tools that you want me to show you or do a review or demo on, I'll be more than happy to do it for you guys. Just comment below. Before I go, don't forget the brake fluid situation guys. If you did spill some of it or put some of it on the bodywork, then please wipe it off with water and some wipes or paper etc., because it will damage your bodywork. The paint will suffer with that. The other thing is the battery. Don't forget to be careful not to mix the terminals, especially when you're charging it or jump starting it. Please be careful with that. And yeah guys, I think all the tools that I showed you today are very easy to use, and they all got instruction manual anyway to show you how to use them. So yeah, I'm gonna put all of them in the description below. Do check out the website on Draper Tools guys. They got plenty of stuff on there that will be helpful for your checks. I just showed you some of the tools that they do, and I think that is a good selection for what we've done here today. So yeah guys, stay safe out there. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, give us a like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.